Howdy y'all. I'm Wayne from Dallas, Texas, home of this. Who knew? And I react to all things UK as I'm trying to learn more about your country. Big fan here in Dallas, Texas. I'm reacting to a video today. It was a request by Helen. Thank you for the request. This is called Avebury Unveiled, World's Largest Stone Circle. How do you say that? Is it Avebury? Avebury? Anyway, I haven't really heard of this. Helen thought it might be a good idea to react to, so I'm going to check it out today. If you get a second, please like and subscribe to this video. It helps out a lot. And here we go.
My name's Lizzie, I'm an archaeologist, and this is my channel, Dig About.
She's an archaeologist.
Today we're going to talk about Neolithic important landscapes, and I'm going to take you guys with me on a road trip to Avebury.
Avebury.
The landscape I'm going to take you guys to today is called Avebury and lies in modern-day Wiltshire. The area of Wessex is best known for another important Neolithic landscape. It is home to Stonehenge. In fact, Stonehenge is 28 kilometres away, a 40-minute drive and an 8-hour walk.
I just watched a video on accents. I wonder where's her accent from? Maybe you can tell me in the comments.
In Neolithic terms, they were practically neighbours. The Avebury landscape holds so many archaeological sites, not all of which have yet been discovered. West Kennet, Long Barrow. Today I'm going to take you along Windmill Hill to 6 of these sites. The Circle and the Henge, the Sanctuary, Silbury Hill, and West Kennet Avenue.
How have I never heard of this?
Right, let's go! Please like and subscribe. Today we're starting our trip at West Kennet, Long Barrow. This structure was built around 3670 BC and is one of the first monuments built within our landscape that we will be seeing today. Long barrows can be found across Britain, but this long barrow in particular is part of a group called the Cotswold 7. The structure is built using local sarsen stone and Neolithic limestone from the Cotswolds. The site saw the burial of around 50 people from between 3670 BC to 3635 BC. Occasional human and animal bones were added to the long barrow, as well as flint and pottery.
It's like a wall.
Before the site was permanently closed by these large standing stones.
It's a burial.
So we couldn't quite make it over to Windmill Hill. It is behind me here upon the horizon, but it is an incredibly important site. The enclosure was probably the first structure to have been built here in the landscape, dating to around 3600 BC, and it stayed in use until the late Neolithic, around 2500 BC. The site saw the construction of 3 circular ditches with interval crossing points, giving it the characteristic name causewayed. These were probably designed to keep livestock in and out of the site.
That's cool.
The enclosure covered 21 acres on top of the hillside, making it the largest causeway enclosure in Britain. The finds at the site inform us that it was probably used as either a market where animals were slaughtered and traded, or as a feasting site due to the quantity of animal remains. Other findings were of early Neolithic pottery, flint tools, animal and human remains. Interestingly, within one of the ditches was a complete child burial. The child was probably around 2 to 3 years old and buried around 3350 BC. The great human fingerprint now seen in Avebury.
This is interesting so far. I didn't know any of this existed, and they're just so old. Glad I watched this.
represents one type of living that brought people from outside the area. But what about their own communities? Everyday settlements also occurred in this area, one of which lay next to Windmill Hill, but these did not always leave lasting visual marks on the landscape. Being the largest stone
circle and the hinge.
The circle began its life in the late Neolithic. The site was built in 2 phases.
Wow.
The first giving us the inner settings, potentially the inner circle and the first sign of earthworks. The second saw the construction of the main earthworks, the outer circle and the avenues. The initial construction began with 98 to around 105 massive sarsen stones. The stones here are deliberately placed for position and height and are evenly spaced apart. The stones used to build the circle are a type of silicified sandstone called sarsen. They are only found across southern England, specifically on Silbury Plain and Marlborough Downs. The latter is where our stones were collected. Sarsen is found
How much do those weigh?
on the surface, making them easily harvested as no stonework was needed to create their shape. They only had to transport them around the corner, which is a big benefit for the builders. The stones here are the largest found in any stone circle and are found at the north and south entrances.
Big.
The 2 inner circles are aligned with north and south. The southern circle has 29 smaller sarsen stones with an obelisk standing in its centre. Before it was moved in the 18th century, the obelisk stood at 6.4 metres tall. That's 3.7 Lizzie's. Recent geophysics work using solid resistance survey and ground penetration radar
I think that's around
has allowed
12
us to see
feet.
beneath the ground and identify long lost structures. The survey identified a missing squircle that spanned 30 metres enclosing the obelisk. Finding megalithic circles in the late Neolithic is somewhat common, but a square circle is highly unusual, making the site even more impressive and important. The northern circle used to contain 27 sarsen stones. This makes the northern circle slightly smaller than the southern. From these stones, 6 now remain, with 2 having fallen. Inside the circle was a smaller triangle, known as the cove. From the 3 stones, the 2 now remaining are the largest stones found at the site, with the 3rd having fallen and later removed in the 18th century. You may have noticed, but surrounding the stones is a massive henge. The henge now stands around 4 to 5 metres tall, but used to stand 17 metres, with the ditch being 9 metres deep. Can you imagine about how much time that would have taken to create? And then think about they were digging it with antler pickaxes.
Were they just like, this is a cool space, let's build a town right here?
The henge was constructed with the chalk and would have been a major contrast of white against this green landscape. Unlike anything someone from the Neolithic could have imagined. Approaching the site after hearing whispers would have been unimaginable and incredibly daunting. This is definitely
really
a
cool.
statement-worthy place. I wouldn't want to mess with the communities who could build something like this. Many people have occupied this land throughout history, but unlike today, they did not have the same consideration or
It's a
understanding
beautiful
of
countryside.
stones.
Sky looks a
Sadly,
little grey.
many stones have been lost throughout time. To create more space, in the medieval period, many stones were destroyed and buried. These are now indicated using concrete posts. Excavation
It's sad they
is one of the
destroy
most
it, but
labour-intensive
I guess
Neolithic
that's what we
monuments
do.
to have been built in Britain. Still to this day, Avebury gathers people in their masses to witness the summer and winter solstice. The sanctuary was once both a timber and a stone circle, which was believed to have been constructed around 2500 BC. Although the site isn't there today, we know that it was still around in the 17th century, as scholars wrote about it, saying that the locals called the circle the sanctuary. The site was then destroyed in the 18th century to create more agricultural land. It was Silbury Hill is a man-made hill that amazes every person who sees it. Standing at 30 metres...
In St. Louis, I used to live, and they have these giant mounds that were built by Indian tribes. They're called the Cahokia Mounds, actually in southern Illinois. And they're huge, and there's a whole bunch of them. And I don't think they know why they were there. Maybe burial grounds, but they know there was a city there one time. So that would be weird to put giant burial grounds like right in your city. Maybe she'll tell me why these are here, like why did they do this?
High and around 160 metres wide, this chalk structure is the pinnacle of mathematics and construction. Scientists have calculated that it probably took around 4 million man-hours and 500,000 tonnes of material to build this structure. But who built it? Well, this is where it gets interesting. Analysis done on the hill shows that it started construction around 2400 BC. This is after the Neolithic and actually at the beginning of the Bronze Age. The fact that the Bronze Age people also constructed monuments in this landscape isn't unique to Avebury and actually has occurred in other important landscapes. It appears that these migrating groups appreciated the importance of these landscapes and decided to add to them themselves. The first structure the Bronze Age people decided to build here was Silbury Hill. The original structure built here was made from the surrounding soil and stones and would have stood around 1 metre high. Next, they used a ring of stakes to infill a 16-metre diameter circle. This continued until the mound stood at 5 metres tall and 35 metres wide. They then cut an enclosing ring of ditches to surround the mound that stood at 100 metres wide with an inner chalk bank. This monument could not have been built over one generation.
We're just building it because we can.
To bring the quantity of chalk
cool,
to surrounding lands. The latest addition to the site was the water-filled ditch. To understand how the structure was built, archaeologists have dug holes straight into the centre. Other similar hills have gleamed magnificent burials within the centre, but sadly this was not the case at Silbury Hill. But I believe the significance of this site is held within the mathematics. You see, when creating a mound, there is a natural angle that the structure can be stable at before it falls down the edge. Silbury Hill lies at the maximum angle, which is 30 degrees, making this structure a one of a kind, with its purpose unknown.
Unknown purpose.
Around 2400 to 2200 BC, 2 avenues were constructed. The avenue was constructed of around 100 pairs of sarsen stones, 25 metres wide and about 2.5 kilometres long.
It's a really good video. I'm learning a lot here. I've never heard of any of this. I guess Stonehenge gets all the press.
Have shown that there were actual beaker burials under some of our stones. Beckhampton Avenue lies west of the circle and runs 1.5 kilometres, connecting the site to the Longstone Cove at Beckhampton. Sadly, only one stone now remains. Excavations between 1999 and 2004 rediscovered 120 metres of the avenue and found it was also constructed of 2 parallel lines that stood 15 metres apart. The landscape of Avebury still to this day brings people to connect them back to the earth and to appreciate the world around them. The magnitude of all of these structures has led a lot of people to believe in the extraordinary being the cause. After 5 dig seasons, I can confirm that you can never get a signal within the circle, and the weather prediction for this place is never correct. Although the main construction of Avebury is within the late Neolithic, the construction at this site started within the early into the Bronze Age. The immense manpower and time needed to build all of these structures shows that there was a lot of love for this landscape. We may never know exactly why these structures were built, but I'm glad that it was not in vain and that they are still here for us to enjoy today.
The video was by Dig About, so you can check her out on her channel. I'll leave a link in the video description. That was a really fun video. Like I said, I never had heard of that. And I'm curious too about that YouTuber's accent, because I can't pick it out, even though I just watched a video all about accents. But yeah, this is a very interesting video. You hear a lot about Stonehenge. I didn't know any of these other places existed. So again, thank you, Helen, for the suggestion. I may check out a few more videos on this. If you get a chance, please like and subscribe to my channel. Until then, see you next time.